Hey, you all, how are you? How are you? How are you? I'm Latanya Washington, the founder and the CEO of the Customer Culture, whose mission is to empower organizations with the skill sets to run a thriving, customer focused initiative within their organization. I mean, wow. We are now living in a world where people want everything right now. Give it to me. As we all say, it's a microwave society, but my job is to empower companies and their employees on giving their consumers the best customer experience. And today I wanted to speak to the customer support teams or the customer support representatives, because as you all know, you're on the front line when it comes to connecting to people on the phone, via email, face to face. You're on the front line, and not only do you represent that organization, but you're also representing yourself as an individual. I know many times you're called in as a representative and you may get some training, but it may not be to the full effect in which you can be effective in solving problems of the person that you face in front of you. And so I just wanted to jump in and provide a workshop, a mini workshop. You can always go to my website at the Customer Culture as well as our YouTube channel and get all the information that you need to be successful in what it is that you do. We're here for you. I'm here for you to help you through the process as much as you need and to continue to take you and your organization to the next level where you're providing hero moments. So let's get started on today. And if you have any questions, always know you can email me at support at the customer culture. You can visit our website and get further information. So let's get started. And so today we're talking about effective customer support representation, or learning to be an effective customer support representative. As I said previously, you may have received some training, but we're going to a level to where you may have never thought about operating in. We're talking about the elements and skills you need to understand the customer. And there is the aha moment. A lot of times we're taught on how to provide etiquette, proper telephone etiquette, how to say, how may I help you? But we never, ever talk about how to understand the consumer. How do you understand the culture in which you serve? And when you begin to understand that and begin to operate in that level, everything will change. You will go to such a level as a representative that many people may not be able to even understand. Wow, how come people are always asking for her? How come people are always asking for him? It is because you went the extra mile to understand who it is that you're serving. So let's go move forward into this. Now, understand this. The customer has the power. I said the power of a customer. You know, the customer has the power to make or break your organization. It can be the difference between you going to work or looking for work. Let me say that again. It can be the difference between you going to work or looking for work. That is the power of the consumer. And when we begin to understand the power that they have, it's always not about the consumer is always right, because we already know the consumer is not always right. Even as a person that is providing the service, you're not always right. Everyone's not always right. The thing is having the ability as a customer support representative to be able to solve the problem that the customer is having. It could be a return. It could be my food was cold. It could be the items were wrong. My product did not arrive to me on time. And so the whole goal of you is to provide the solution, and then understanding the individual before you. What is it that they're dealing with? What is it that they need? Know who you are dealing with. When you begin to understand that mechanism, you will be able to go to the next level. All right. So now let's understand this as well. The emotional cycle of the customer. We are human beings, which means we come with emotions. And so when you, as a customer support representative, whether you're operating alone, whether you're operating with a team, you have to begin to evaluate what is it, what will happen if I put myself in the shoes of the consumer. When you look at that, you begin to say, and you begin to ask yourself, what do they feel? How do they feel about this product? How do they feel about the service? What is it that they're looking for? Then what do they like? Are they women? Are they men? Are they millennials? Are they baby boomers? What do they like? And not even looking at that as a broad perspective. Look at them as individuals. What is it that they like? Do they like the outdoors? Do they love the indoors? The only way you're going to be able to understand that consumer is by literally asking questions and developing not only a conversation, but if you find that consumer consistently coming to you or they're calling, and a lot of times we can figure this out by literally evaluating their email, evaluating the journey of that individual. And you'll be able to understand if they're always coming to you. Maybe this is the first time they're coming to you. And when you go that extra mile, it'll help you build the relationship. And not just you building the relationship, but allowing the company to build the relationship. You also represent the company, not only yourself. And then you have to ask yourself, when you put yourselves in the shoes of that consumer, where do they spend their money? When do they spend their money? And what will make them better? Most people now are online purchasing product, they're purchasing service just to either make them feel good, to make them a better individual, to make their family better, to make their wives, to make their husbands better, whatever it is. And when you begin to delve a little bit deeper, remember, we're looking to understand who we're servicing. When you take out that little extra time to do that, and when you put yourselves in their shoes, it's going to help you take care of that consumer more, and you'll be able to solve their problem. So think of those. When you put yourselves in their shoes, you all, you'll begin to go and understand them more. Now, you want to then be able to take them through the journey from point A to point B, all the way to point Z. So, in order to be able to take that consumer through the journey, representative, you're going to have to be able to ask questions, find out what it is that they like. Like we said previously in the previous slide, what is it that they're looking for? What is the issue that they're dealing with? What is the problem? And at the end of the day, you think about it. When we're on the phone with people, you're not trying to be on the phone with them all day long. If I have a problem, there's a reason why I have a problem, and I'm trying to get my problem solved. But it is our job to literally take out time and take them through the journey to make sure that you're solving their problem. And so, like I said, that means you have to ask questions, not a whole lot of questions, but you got to develop the skill. And we deal with this even in the customer service program. You have to learn how to develop the skills in order to ask the right questions. And when you ask the right questions, you'll be able to understand who you are dealing with. All right. So let's move further. So now let's ask this. First, what are they saying? You have to take on that ear and say, what are they really literally telling you? And this is where you begin to develop great communication skills. What we find out a lot of times, we're already on the defense trying to give an answer, where we're not looking and we're not listening in, having that listening ear to understand what are they saying. You can begin to understand this by literally developing the communication skills and even listening to the tone in which they are conveying the problem. And when you begin to delve into that, it could be an older lady that's calling you because she's having problems with her cell phone. Now, already understanding the fact, if it's an older lady, maybe she's 60, 65, she may be an individual that's not always going to go to YouTube, or she's not going to go online trying to search out, how do I connect? She's picking up that phone and she's having a problem. She doesn't know how. It could be maybe she doesn't understand the different things on that smartphone. And now it is your job to just help her go through that process of it. And so when you you begin to develop those communication skills and you understand and you paying attention to what it is that they're saying, it's going to help them through the process and get to that solution. Communication skills are key. So now we're talking about problem solving skills. So when speaking, this is very, very vital, you guys, because when speaking face to face or you're talking to someone over the phone, once again, what are they saying to you? Now, you want to listen to the tone in which they're conveying the message. And people always say I'm sorry. You know what? I'm literally against saying I'm sorry. I'm going to tell you why I'm against it often. Now, it's okay to say I'm sorry. I'm going to tell you why. Many representatives have been trained to say I'm sorry. So the consumer, even you think about it, we're sick and tired of people saying I'm sorry. People just want the solution. And so when you begin to even change that, and they know it, they hear it all the time of people saying I'm sorry, and a lot of times not even meaning it. They're not here to just hear you say I'm sorry. They need you to solve the problem. And so now we need to start thinking about saying words like let me get this solved for you. And then don't just say let me get this solved for you. Make sure the problem is solved. And remember, you're dealing with different types of personalities. You're dealing with complainers. You're dealing with negative people. You're dealing with people who are demanding. You're dealing with all types of individuals. And so you want to make sure that you tap into that. Now, if you're connecting to people via email, you want to help them relate to you the problem that they're dealing with. Now, when you're responding back, one thing that I don't like, and a lot of people, once again, evaluating who you're dealing with, you don't want these big long paragraphs. You want short paragraphs, and you want to be able to have it on a white background with black writing, or to where people can understand exactly what it is that you're saying. So remember, even when you're responding to people via email, make it small paragraphs. If it's a paragraph, it could just be one sentence long. And so you want to make sure you have short paragraphs. You want to make sure your spacing. You want to make sure your background is white, and that you have black writing so it is very, very visible. Now, two, understand this. You too have the ability to change the atmosphere in your conversation. Now, one thing you never want to do is take anything personally, because people just want their problem solved. And so, because you're on the front line, it's nothing against you unless you're a representative and you're short and you're snappy and you're snapping back, you're tired for the day. Therefore, all of you is going to attack them. Now we got an even bigger problem. But I want you to recognize, don't take it personally when people call in the first time. But you have the ability as the representative, as the customer support representative. You took on this job because hopefully it wasn't just to find a job, but hopefully it was to be able to be the catalyst to help other people solve a problem. All right. And so you don't want to take anything personally, but understand you can change the atmosphere. How can you change the atmosphere? You can say, by the tone in your very own voice. So literally someone could call and say, hey, this is Latanya Washington. How may I help you? And then allow them to say what it is that they need to say, and then say, all right, I hear you. Let me get this problem solved for you. All right. So you hear my tone. So my very own tone can change the trajectory. It can change the atmosphere of the individuals that I'm speaking to. And I want you all to begin to, you can even practice that on your own. Just change it, and you can literally change the atmosphere in which you're dealing with. Now, two, remember, you have the ability now to create a teachable moment. You can literally put the power in the consumer's hand. When they know if something happens like this again, there are different ways in which they can resolve their situation. It could be little things that you can say, like, oh, if this ever happens again, click the pound sign and then try this number. But then say, if you continue to have this problem, always feel free without hesitation to give us a call. Give them your information. Say, contact me at this extension, or literally say, You can contact this department. I'm going to make a ticket and make sure it gets done. But you can create a teachable moment for that consumer at that time. Even for some techie issues, you can even let them know, hey, you can even visit YouTube if you ever are having a problem connecting with us, and you can connect with YouTube, and it can you just type in the problem, and then literally you'll get a message, a multitude of messages from YouTube to help you go through the process. But once again, if you still find an issue, call us. As a matter of fact, I'll give you a call back in a few days and check up on you. It's the little things like that. But I want you to begin to think about other things in which people can get through the process. So create teachable moments even to that consumer that is on the line with you as well. All right. Now, what you want to do, you guys, and I'm talking about going past the little bit of training that you may have already received. You want to be able to obtain feedback. Now, how can you do this? Now, actually, are consumers complaining about the same product or service? If you're finding out they're complaining about the same product or service, that means there is a gap, there is a leak in the strand. And so there's something that now you need to talk to management, or you might need to talk to another person that is there and find out what's going on, because it's obvious that there is a problem. And so you want to be able to receive feedback from the consumer. Um, if you're not doing a survey, you want to be able to create one and see what product and or service people like the best. That's going to help you out a lot. And also evaluate where most people are purchasing from and what they are purchasing the most of. It's going to give you a lot of feedback, and therefore you can begin to realize, okay, this is working here, but it's not working over there. So what is the problem? Remember, first and foremost, we're in a state of understanding who I'm dealing with, understanding the customer. If I put my shoes on, and I took on the way of that consumer, and I'm dealing with my company, what is it? What is it that my problem? What am I dealing with? And so by you obtaining the feedback by these different ways, it's going to help you go through the process a whole lot, and a lot sooner, and it'll eliminate a lot. And so when you go through that process, you guys, all you're going to do now is begin to repeat the cycle from the information you've obtained and communicating with the consumer to further educate you. So not only are you creating teachable moments for the consumer, but you're also educating you on the people that you serve. And that is literally what it is all about. And so in the process, you guys, I want you all to learn to be effective in what it is that you're doing. And so I always call it the customer culture way, because literally that is what it is all about. It is about the customer. It is about the consumer. And when we begin to deal with the consumer and the customer in a new light of understanding that they are human beings, they are emotional, they're dealing with all the other things that come along with being human and having problems that need to be dealt with, you'll begin to operate in a whole nother light, and you'll begin to So I just wanted to simply jump in and talk to you guys in regards to that, because it is so necessary on ways in which we need to deal with the consumer, ways in which we need to deal with one another, even as co-employees, the way in which we need to be able to know how to deal with the management, understand who you are dealing with. Okay, that's it for today. I want to I'm hopeful that you take these nuggets, you use them, and so you are creating hero moments within your organization. And as you go throughout your day, you'll learn that you're creating your very own skills to become better at what it is you do as a service representative, even as you support other people. All right. Have a great rest of your day, you guys. always understand you can reach out to us for more details. Visit our website at thecustomerculture.com and get more tidbits or on our YouTube channel, and you'll be able to make it through and be able to be a great customer service representative in your field. All right. Have a great one, you guys, and we'll talk again soon. Bye bye.